Hi, my name is Christopher David Mitchell. I'm a coach, and today we're going to be talking about the topic of will people leave you or abandon you, particularly if you're going through a really tough time. So if you're new to this channel, then I would encourage you to watch my video, My Survival Story Living with an Ileostomy Bag. And that's had, millions of views at this point. And what was interesting is within that video, which was about 7.5 minutes long and discussed so much complex stuff, in about 4 seconds of that video, I at one point say, when I was going through a major life-saving sort of health crisis, that my girlfriend left me and my best friend wasn't there for me. And didn't come visit me in hospital. And that is the biggest talking point in the comments of that video. I didn't even mention any names. I didn't want to. I just wanted to tell the truth. But I just find it fascinating. In that whole video, that was the thing that most people commented on. So it got me thinking, why is this? And maybe I should shoot a video just talking about that sort of what I believe goes on when you're going through quite a lot. Maybe there's a career change or a health crisis, and will the people around you stay or will they leave? So I just want to offer some insights on this, as like I say, it just seems to be the one thing that people talked about the most from my video. So will people leave you or will they not if you go through big adversity, big changes within your own life? Well, maybe not. That's the answer is obviously I can't say that. It depends who's around you, but obviously I want to dive deeper. Now, not everyone left me at all during my health crisis. My mum, my dad, and my sister were still there, amazingly for me. I'm still very close to my family, and they were fantastic through the process. But then, like I mentioned, some other people weren't. So what is going on here? I want to help you if maybe someone's left you or abandoned you, help you recover from that, and just be aware of what's going on if you go through a moment of adversity in your life in regards to everyone else. So with everyone else, they can only react to the level of development they're at the time. And the thing is that if you're going through, say, something like a life-changing health operation, you got to think that, can these people be there for me? But also, the way to frame it is, could they even be there for themselves? Could they even do it themselves? Have they got the skills within themselves to be able to cope through that if it happened to them? And they probably don't. A lot of people in life have grown up, especially if you're in the UK or America, say, you've grown up probably in a decent way of living, especially compared to the rest of the world. So if you've never had any real hardships in life or gone through some adversity yourself, you probably don't have the skills to be able to cope with someone very close to you going through it, because still part of the experience is that, the close people around you are going through it as well if they're visiting you in hospital and they're emotionally involved. But if people can't cope with it, I don't necessarily think it's them abandoning you. I think a lot of the times they just don't have the skills within themselves to be able to cope with the situation. Because it's fine being friends or partners with someone and everything's going well. That shit's easy. But when things are not going well, that shows the true character of a person, the true self. It's sort of like that analogy that when you squeeze the fruit really hard, what comes out is the real juice. And it's sort of like that with life. That if you're going through a very testing situation within yourself, it really tests who you really are. It really tests your character. But even the people who are around you, like boyfriends, girlfriends, friends, if they're going through that experience with you and they're not able to help you and they crumble, they may just leave because they just cannot cope. So I hope this reframes a little bit of like, instead of blaming people, which I never really did, for leaving you or abandoning you, think of it a different way of like, they haven't got the skills to be able to cope in this situation. They've got the skills to be able to take me out for a nice meal and a nice pint at the pub. But have they got the skills as a friend or partner to be able to really cope with this very difficult situation and change? So that's point number one, is that people are reacting based on the skills and how evolved they are at that point in their life. It's not to say that 10 years down the line, those people couldn't either. Just as like, if I was a 15-year-old teenager and a friend was in hospital, I wouldn't be able to cope with it and I'd probably be a terrible friend. But now that I've got more skills because I've been through it myself and I've learned the skills within myself of everything that goes with life, and particularly if you've been through adversity, you'll get more skills because you have to dig deeper to get through that difficult time. But now I would be a great friend if someone was struggling through a traumatic time. I'd be amazing because I understand and I'm able to cope in that difficult situation. But like I said, when I was a teenager, I wouldn't be. So it's not to demonize people. This is what we don't want to do. It's really easy to blame them. They left me, they abandoned me. But it's to reframe it like this. That people are acting the best they can at that present moment. I really do believe that. So that's the first half of this explanation here, is that it can be about the other person and how developed they are within themselves. But the second half as well is that it's about you. It's about you going through that tough time. Because what happens is, when you go through a tough time or a time of adversity, you change a lot as a person. And of course, growth is change most of the time. So if you're changing a lot as a person through the adversity and whatever life challenges you're going through, you're going to be a different person. You're going to be a different person to the friend or partner that they had a relationship with. And that's already going to create a separation. So the example of this is like, with my friends, friend who wasn't there for me like I thought he would be, or the partner, is that, to be fair to them, and I suppose I'm seeing the bright side here, is that they were no longer in a friendship or relationship with the same guy. Like, I changed so much through that time of adversity. I'd gone from being a fun-loving, social party guy, I suppose. Not a party guy, but I was social and I was out and about and I was fun and carefree, to I was a very deep thinker. I was suddenly reading a lot of personal development books. I was suddenly thinking about life purpose, and I just became a different guy. Adversity does that. It speeds up and accelerates your growth, which is great. But just realize that because you've changed so much through the adversity, the friendships and relationships are going to change anyway. So they are not going to resonate with you as much because you're actually a different person. You're a different person before the adversity or something that you went through. And so there's a high chance anyway that the relationship was going to go anyway. Because think about it. It's this saying of like, relationships are there for reasons, seasons, or lifetimes. And really, if the book was the book of your life, the only character that remains is the main character, is you. but people will come in and out generally as you evolve. And the only relationships that will stay are the relationships where you happen to evolve together at the same pace. If one person is staying put with their life and the other one is changing massively, which can be due to adversity, then there's going to be a disconnect. You're not going to have that connection anymore. So it's almost a natural evolvement where you think, you know, even if the people in my life didn't leave me or abandon me, although, like I say, I don't see it that way anymore, but if they came back in my life now, we wouldn't get on anyway. Because I've often thought about this. I've often thought about, like, what would the relationship be like, or the friendship would be like with some people I had before I went through that adversity and that health scare. But even if we met up for a drink, I know for a fact that I've changed so much. They may have changed a bit, but like I say, adversity is a gift in that sense where it speeds up your growth, because you have to dig deep and you have to learn skills that in normal everyday life you don't even have to think about. So I hope that's helped. If you've ever had any trouble sort of forgiving, I suppose, anyone who you feel like has left you at a time of need, or, you know, just be aware of what could be going on in the cycles and chapters of our lives when people come at the right time, when you meet and you've got the connection and you resonate together. And that's what a relationship is. But, you know, we all know the people we don't really connect with, that's because their values are different. They're at a different place in life. And what a big shift in you yourself will do is change who you are, which is a beautiful thing. But don't expect people to come along the journey with you. Don't expect people to change with you. They're not gonna change with you if they're not going through something as well to speed up their growth. That's why it's a beautiful thing if you ever have friends who you've been friends with for 10, 15 years. You know, in some way you would have both evolved in a similar way together. Yeah. So I hope that's helped today, and I hope you feel okay about your relationships and your friendships. And I really hope that some people, of course, will be there for you through your times of struggles and adversity in this life. And I wish you all the best with that. So that's it for today. Please check out my website, ChristopherDavidMitchell.com. Like this video, it would really help me out. Share it out to a friend who this might help. Maybe they feel like they've been abandoned or something like that, or maybe they're struggling to get over something. So maybe that will help. And yeah, I'll see you next time. All right, thanks for watching.